on Inside Cross River, we let you know on everything happening in our landscape. And of course, we go beyond Cross River State most times to interface with our illustrious sons and daughters, and then to find out what is going on and to follow up their track record. Today, we'll be talking to a very important son, someone that had a lot of contributions to make in the last 8 years of the Ben-Aide-led administration. And today, he's settling into the private sector and he's doing a whole lot for his foundation. I'm talking about the former Chief of Staff, Honorable Martin Orim, who is the chairman of Jeff Orim Foundation. Yeah, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, so you have a lot of rules, but let's start by about 2 years after governance. How has it been for you? What have you been doing with yourself?
Well, I must say it has been a very wonderful period. It wasn't easy serving in government as Chief of Staff for 8 years.
Okay.
You know, as the office of Chief of Staff was the main hub of the government, you know, the clearinghouse and the office that interfaces with the people, you know, that is like the go-between the people and the governor.
Sure.
So the pressure was enormous.
Okay.
You know, you imagine a life where 24 hours your phones cannot rest. You know, you don't have a life of your own, no time for yourself. You know, no program for yourself. You just wake up. The people's program is your program. You can't set an agenda for yourself.
Okay.
You know, the people's agenda is your agenda. People's program is your program. People's affair is your affair. So it is like just migrating from there to a life where you now set your own agenda. You now decide what you want to do. Mm-hmm. You now live your life the way you want to live it. You now sleep when you want to sleep, wake up when you want to wake up. This is my private office. I come to office when I want to come. Any day I wake up and I feel like it's not convenient for me to come, I sit at home, I work from home. Okay. You know, I have time, you know, to even travel, you know, even out of the country, take some vacation and all of that. All of that wasn't really possible when I was in office as Chief of Staff. Okay. So I must say, life after office, you know, it's been wonderful, and we thank God that at least we can still raise our heads very high.
All right, so today beyond talking about, you know, your personal, up close and personal, how you've done and all of that, I would like us to talk about some critical issues. You were part of that process where you won primaries to run Senate. And of course, for some reason or the other, you handed over the ticket to your boss, and how we recorded that colossal loss in the North. So we can today say the North is in the hands of the opposition. And then we are now staging a comeback and all of that. And you happen to be the Director General, which I know that is beyond cheap talk. It's beyond dramatization. It's not going to be a tea party. It's not going to be a walkover. It has to do with hard work. So as the Director General, you are the main person that have to come on board the process to direct the affairs. So what is going to be your strategy to reclaim the North in totality?
Well, thank you. First, I must seize this opportunity to clear one impression that has been lingering for a very long time. Okay. The impression that my principal, Senator Ben-Aide, gave me money to buy form to hold that ticket for him. There was nothing of such that happened. My principal called me and said, "You served me selflessly, loyally. Mm-hmm. You gave your all for my administration to succeed. And I know that you were not empowered the way you're supposed to be empowered. So I would like to send you to the Senate. You go and run for Senate." And I wasn't too sure. I met with his brother, who he himself called him the co-governor, to ask him whether what his brother said he meant it, whether I should really go into this race. And he said yes, that they have discussed it, both of them, and that they want me to run for Senate. When the issue of me giving ticket to my boss came up, my boss, till I gave him that ticket, never called me for once to say, "I'm interested in running selection, hand over the ticket to me." I heard it as rumors. Even when I asked him, he said it was rumor, I should just ignore it. I asked the former deputy governor to help me speak to him and ask him whether this story I'm hearing about him coming back to run for Senate was true. He rebuked him and said, how will he ask his chief of staff to go and run for Senate and then he will come back to say he wants to run? And that besides, his PA Dr. Steve Ode has been to the Senate and sat on that seat, and that he cannot see himself running election against Jarigbe, who is a younger person like a son to him, and all of that. And all those things went on and on. But unfortunately, they went through the party, tried to take out my name. It wasn't possible. And they started making advances to me. He used his brother, Dr. Frank, who just called me on the phone and carelessly said, go to the secretary, go and write a letter and tell them that you're no longer interested. And I said, come on, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So that was what looked like somebody dragging with his boss. I never dragged with my boss. If my boss had called me to a meeting and then we had a one-on-one discussion like a boss and a subordinate, and told me, oh, look at my reasons. I want you to step aside, let me go and run for this election. I don't think I would have coughed. Okay. I would have quietly just gone, write my withdrawal and left. But the approach, I was treated like, no, without respect, without regard to my personality. At least I'm an adult with a wife and children, a family man. I have a family, I have a community, I had people I needed to explain to. I had people that led on that I'm running for Senate, who were excited, who followed me through the primaries, who were excited that, one of their own is going to the Senate. I needed something to explain to them. Rather than just chipping out without any explanation, it would have destroyed my politics as a person. So I needed that kind of one-on-one discussion, but he never did. Maybe out of pride. But I thank God, when the pressure got hard, I spoke with my wife, I prayed to God, and God led me and said, give it to him. I went, I called the party chairman, called High Chief Higgins, who is his friend, and then we had a meeting, and I wrote that withdrawal myself. Willingly, I went to the court, deposed an affidavit, and sent it to INEC, and withdrew from that race. I was never paid a dime by Senator Benaya. They let him come out and prove it. Okay. So I want to put this on record. All right. Because that was what created a rift between me and Agba Jalingo a while ago. Okay. When he wrote that story, and I merely called him and said, the story you wrote is not correct. If you want to write a story, why don't you call me as a journalist? And confirm. To get my own version of the story you heard on the street. Before you write and put my name. You can't put my name on a story without confirming from me. And he apologized. And I said, it's not enough to apologize. You have to find a way and correct the story. Because at my level in the society, you can't write the story and put my name without getting my own part of the story. He picked offense and said I was threatening him. And I never threatened him. But the issue I wanted to clear was that I was never a placeholder for Benaya. I want
to ask a follow-up question to that. You had a discussion and the ticket was given to you willingly. So what led to the change of heart? And then when the change of heart took place, what became the missing link that you were not called to the negotiation table to, have that conversation? What do you think went wrong?
I don't know, probably pride. I was appointed by him, so that made me subservient to him, and that I was at his beck and call. And the painful aspect was that my boss that I served with the whole of my blood never found me worthy for him to call me and sit down with him one-on-one for a discussion. He rather went through his brother. Okay, so some people say you worked against him during the election. How true is that? Let him show the result of his word. Let me bring the result of my word. He lost his word and struggled to Panebi from the back door. But I was told you worked against him. I worked against him how? I won election in the 2 wards that I come from. Okay. Clearly, with large margin. So where did that story come from? I don't know. I never worked against him. Okay, so let me He said he didn't need me for his campaign. He didn't involve me. He involved his brother, Kenneth Akla, from his village. Okay. All resources, everything was done through Kenneth. I wasn't involved. But I went home. I went to my people. I campaigned with my people, spoke to them. Even when they said they were not going to vote, I pleaded. They were angry that he deprived me of going to the Senate. I pleaded with them and explained to them why they have to support him. I said, yesterday you were happy with him because he appointed me as chief of staff. Yeah. If today he tried to give me Senate and he took it back, you can't be angry with him because at least you had something to be happy with him. Just rely on that which he did yesterday, and support him.
All right, so would you say that changed the relationship between you and the immediate past governor? How is your relationship
I
like
don't
right
have
now?
an issue with him. But I don't know, for some reason, he doesn't see me like somebody who he should relate with politically. But I take it.
So what is your current relationship like? You talk?
If I have any reason to talk with him, we talk.
Okay.
I call him on the phone if I have anything to discuss with him.
But have you ever
because we have a lot of issues.
Have you ever gone to see him to sit like this to talk?
The day I attempted to see him, he referred me to Robert. The only day I had the opportunity to see him was when my wife's elder brother, who is the chief of defense intelligence, wanted to see him, and he gave him an appointment, and that one asked me to escort him there because he doesn't know his way to his house. That was the day I had the opportunity of sitting with him one-on-one. And he brought up this issue and put the whole blame on Beta Idu. So it's Beta that deceived him. That the worst mistake he made was not to allow me run for that Senate. That he knows I would have defeated Jarigwe. But that Beta deceived him, brought people, deceived him that they were going to make him Senate president. That is what the party is planning. So he fell for that deceit. And for me, I told him I've taken it in good faith. That has passed. We need to strategize and move forward as a people. But for some reason, for everybody he calls to discuss politics with, he said I betrayed him. I betrayed him. I don't know where I betrayed my boss, who asked me to run for Senate and used backdoor to collect the ticket. And I gave him, I worked for him, won election in my area where I come from, brought the result. He said I betrayed him. How? Was I the INEC?
Okay, so moving into 2027, do we see a united front? Do we see you reconciling with Senator Ben Ayade? Do we see all of you being on the same page to achieve the same results?
I don't have any issue with Senator Ben Ayade. He's my boss. He's still my boss.
Do you think he has Do you think he has an issue with you?
Yeah, I'm feeling so because the people he speaks with, he speaks ill about me.
So what are you going to do about it?
He said I betray him. I just wish he can create the opportunity to tell me where and how I betray him.
All right. So if you're just joining us, the program remains Inside Cross River. We've been speaking with the immediate past Chief of Staff to the Governor of Cross River State, Honorable Martin Orim. And we've been having a up-close and personal chat. His experience after governance, and of course, the current relationship with his immediate past, the immediate past governor, who is his boss. And then moving into 2027, what is going to be the strategy for NOTCO? All right, so let's move forward to talk about other issues. We've seen a situation where I don't think it's just the issue of you and your boss. We've seen other people not being so real. Even on the NOTCO platform, we see a lot of banters. And then you begin to wonder, is this person on the same page with the NOTCO leadership because of the kind of comments they make and all of that? You are the DG, which is going to be your work. Conflict resolution is going to be part of it. At what point are you going to start that process to make sure that when you arrive 2027, everybody's on the same page?
Well, you see the trend that is happening in Nigeria, where everybody is leaving their party to APC.
Yeah,
that is what always happens in Africa because we are not politically developed or civilized enough.
Okay.
When you lose election as a people, what you are supposed to do, you unite yourself in that failure and see how you correct the lapses that happened, and then move forward to see how you reclaim back that which you think is your rightful position politically in the environment you find yourself. But the trend in Africa and Nigeria especially is that once people win, a lot of people start navigating towards them. You understand? Because everybody wants a share of the national cake. People don't know how to live even private life, how to struggle on their private, in the private sector space to survive without politics. People think that survival must be, oh, you collect money from politicians, you call this one, you blackmail this, you get money. People should learn to be independent-minded. You understand me? Yes, we lost election in Cross River North, and I know the advances the people sitting in office have made towards me. You get me? But I always tell them, even when they offer me contracts, I tell them, no, I'm not in your party. Give the contracts to the people that supported you to win elections. Forget about me. I'm not your party. You don't give me something that will make me to be committed to you in any way. so that I have a clear head on how to work and support my party to come back to power. So the scenario of Nigeria is what is happening in Cross River North. We lost elections, all the National Assembly seats. We lost almost all the House of Assembly seats, except the one of Obudu. And then Ogoja was reclaimed through the court. Obudu was the only one that won clearly on the ground. The PDP candidate had 12,000 votes, while the APC candidate had about 18,000 something votes. And I claimed that credit, but I went all out to work for the victory of the governor and the House of Assembly candidates. And anybody can come out and challenge me to that. To tell me what role they played.
Okay.
So looking at 2027, NOTCO, Cross River North. Yeah, NOTCO is just a coalition of like minds in the Northern Cross River.
Yeah.
So let's come together, let's ask ourselves some pertinent questions. How did we get to where we are today? Where did the rain start beating us? What did we not do right?
Okay, to arrive here.
That we arrived
This
where
current
we are.
predicament.
Yeah. You know, with the political gladiators that find themselves in APC, how do you lose election?
Sure. Having a sitting governor.
One, there are some who say we had bad candidates in that election. Some school of thought say we had bad candidates that were not sellable. Some say some of our candidates, people were already tired of them. Some say zoning was not right for some of the candidates because our people believe strongly in rotation of positions. So, with all of that put together, then our campaign, we didn't campaign well as a party.
Okay.
Because there was this notion, oh, I've done projects, my projects will speak for me, I don't need to campaign. And I said, come on, no. No matter the kind of projects you do, the people who vote in election are our rural people. You have to connect them with your programs and policies of government. They don't understand how that affects them. Even if you do a road that passes through their house, they don't see how that road affects their life. So you need to campaign and speak to them and connect that road with them, their economy, their life, and tell them how that road is useful to them, how it can improve their lot and their economy, how this road can attract people who can come and do investment in their place, people who can come and do business, how their farms, now if they bring their farm produce out, you can have people who will come to your doorstep to buy because you have a good road. If you don't connect the rurals with the programs and policies of government, they won't understand how.
What was the issue against the former governor? Why will his own people go against him? What do you think was the issue? You were chief of staff, so you should know.
First, it was strange to Cross Riverians that a governor will finish from office and run for Senate. That's never happened in Cross River.
Okay.
It was alien to them. It was strange.
Okay.
Yeah, you are finished as governor. You become a statesman.
Okay.
Not to go and run for Senate. The people are giving him Senate.
But God's like Pabio finished and went to Senate.
We're talking about Cross River. I say it's alien to Cross River.
Okay.
They had given, the people of the North had given him Senate, which he enjoyed for 4 years.
So they never wanted him to go back.
They had settled him with Senate and they supported him to be governor.
So do you think if you had run that election, you would have won?
Square and clear.
Okay.
Even the gods of Cross River North knows
Okay.
that I was ripe and ready. I would have won that.
But there was this conspiracy where there were these strange elements, security forces that invaded the landscape. Now, that was beyond ordinary security from the federal. Where do you think that interference came from?
When I went to vote in my polling, I didn't see any security man. The only security people I saw were the armless police people who normally in every elections provide security during voting. I went to my collation center where they collect results. I didn't find any strange security activity there.
But there were things like that in the
collations were done
Iyala.
peacefully. Yes, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I went to the local government collation center. I entered there. It was a normal process. The results were coming and they were collating. So the issue of it was security forces that made us lose election. It's not true. I don't subscribe to that.
But are you saying there was no invasion? Because I had that experience. I saw those. I was in Lokoja at the time. It was even difficult to even penetrate
the invasion.
Yeah.
Did they stop you from voting in your polling unit?
But anything
Did
could have
the
happened.
security men change any result?
Anything could have happened.
No, I'm asking.
Because
in Obudu, we had the military men.
Yeah.
But they mounted on the highways.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And the reason why they came was we had a situation before the election, few days to election, where we had thugs who invaded politicians' houses, broke down houses, destroyed cars, shot even live ammunition at people, and all of that. So
you didn't think that there was anything strange?
There was every
There was
reason.
no conspiracy against the North. It was just a normal security presence.
It was a normal security presence election like every other place. What I say is they were military, but did this military interfere with voting process?
But at a point, when I went to the collation center...
Was there any particular complaint?
When I went to the collation center, I didn't even see critical leaders of APC like I saw the PDP people taking charge of the process at the collation center in Ugoja.
Because they chose not to be there.
You were part of them.
I was not.
Why was you not there?
I wasn't an agent. You know that in election, the only people allowed to be in where they are collecting results are party agents. If I found a candidate in my own collation center in Obudu, I would have raised alarm, gotten evidence, and make sure that that candidate is disqualified.
Okay, but are you eliminating manipulation at the collation center?
If there were manipulations, we went through tribunal and through the court. And the tribunal confirmed the election that it was free and fair. The court affirmed that it was free and fair.
So you are now taking ownership that the colossal failure was natural.
We lost elections.
All right, so coming from the chief of staff,
we did not campaign properly.
Okay.
You don't just come to local government secretariat and you stand. Your principal who is contesting election, they give him mic. No, don't say anything. Don't say anything. You are not supposed to speak. Your projects will speak for you. No, they didn't connect the people with the programs and policies of government.
But are you saying
they needed to connect the people?
But in the past, people have done that carry go and people still won election. No. Was there no beef against the Ben-led administration?
I went on a personal campaign, community to community, in the 2 wards where I come from, my own political bloc.
Okay.
I went to each community. I sat down with them. I listened to their concerns. Mm-hmm. Some had projects that have been sponsored by the community, and I supported some of them.
Okay.
Some I said, okay, this project, okay, in my own capacity as your son, I'll support with 2 million, I'll support with 1 million, I'll support with 5 million, I'll support with 500,000, depending on the kind of project they are doing.
Okay.
I did all of that.
Wow.
All around the communities, and I was able to speak to them. Oh, we have this concern. Government did not address it. It's not possible for one government to address every concern of every community. Government will come, go, another government will come. Gradually, that is why you need a government that has your own people there. So you need to vote for APC because your son is a member of APC. And at that top, where he can attract things for you people.
Okay.
So I was able, if we had leaders who returned to their communities to speak to people, we would have won election.
Okay.
People were just running around collecting money from the former governor, and then some from the cartel deceiving him that people were defecting from PDP to APC, and you're paying people money. I went to him and said, this trend that they have established is just a trend to deceive us and further confuse us. That you pay somebody to defect to your party, I don't believe in that. If somebody must defect to my party, he must do it willingly. I had PD people who approached me in my community. They said they want to defect. I said, don't expect a dime. If you want to defect, let it be that you have made up your mind.
It's a natural process.
That you want to join APC to work. Nobody is giving you a kobo. They all agreed that they are not coming because of the money. They defected en masse to the party. After they defected, like a week or two later, before I came back, invited them, hosted them, gave them money.
Received them, okay.
And I spoke with the governor, and the governor sent 10 million to them, to all the people that defected. I said, yes, this is what it ought to be, natural. Let people come willingly to the party.
All right, that's interesting. The program remains inside Crossover. We go everywhere to interface with Crossoverians to track their progress. And of course, you can see our former chief of staff is doing well, looking very fresh, and is chopping life in Abuja. We are talking politics, we are talking the politics of 2027 and what led to the colossal failure in Crossover North. And I'm very happy that he's taking responsibility for the failure that did not campaign enough. All right, so now that we've established the fact that we didn't do the needful, moving forward, what are you going to do differently as the Director General of NOTCO?
Yes, I've told my other co-leaders of NOTCO that NOTCO will not end with endorsement like we did in Ogoja. Do those rally, go to Calabar, have that dinner, and then we'll come back and sleep. That we must institutionalize NOTCO in our northern strategy, take it down to the very basis, the grassroots, and get people who are going to mobilize support for our party by preaching the works of our governor, the current governor, to the people in the grassroots. For instance, the governor has continued with the funding of Obudu in cargo and passenger airport.
Yeah.
What is the importance of that airport to Obudu people? If you ask the rural man in the village, it tells you, doesn't even have money to fly aeroplane, but it doesn't know that that airport,
the economic landscape,
the economy that airport will create in Obudu.
Yeah.
The rural man doesn't understand that. All he sees and knows about airport is the airport is a place where people fly aeroplane and drop and go their way.
And that doesn't have
it's
money
just
to
like
fly.
a motor park.
Sure.
He doesn't have money to fly. What is his business with the airport? The airport will create economy.
Sure. And the development.
Development, everything.
Sure.
So you need people who will preach that to the people. The special agri processing zone that they are building in Tinapa, in Calabar. So how do you convince a man in Obaneko that thing has anything to do with
him? Yeah.
These are the things we need. This is the message we need to take to our people and preach to them. That Prince Otu is creating a pathway of economic emancipation for our people. The special agri processing zone, let me tell you the people that will benefit most. It's not in Cross River.
Okay.
We are the farmers in Cross River State.
Yeah, that's true.
Central and North are the people who benefit from that special agri processing zone. If you are looking for cocoa, it's Central and part of Northern Cross River.
Cassava, rice.
If you are looking for people who farm rice, it's Northern Cross River and Central.
Curry.
If you are looking for people who farm cassava and all, Northern Cross River and Central.
Sure.
All of those things. So, but if we don't tell them, a man here they are building special agri processing zone in Odupani, and you expect him to be excited in Obaneko, he can never be excited.
Okay.
But when you let them know how him in Obaneko is going to benefit from that project, they will be excited.
All right, so I asked the question. I don't expect you to give us your strategy on the public space, on television and all of that. But what would you do differently? Be specific about it. You have been part of the process. You drove the process. You've seen our weaknesses. You saw where we got it wrong. What are you doing differently?
Well, first we have started by bringing ourselves together to speak to ourselves. You know, let's open up to ourselves. You understand? You know what we lacked before in the past was commitment.
Sure.
There was no commitment. People were not committed to the cause. So what we need to do is to ensure that there's commitment from the people. Because if you are not committed, whether they give you 1 billion naira, you can't bring even a polling unit. Because you're not committed. You understand? So we want to get the commitment of the people. We want to unite ourselves.
Okay.
Speak with one voice. And then we'll ensure that we work with the governor to put positions in the right places. Not to say, oh, I want to favor somebody who is loyal to me. For instance, like the House of Reps of our federal constituency, and then you go and bring somebody from Bekwara to come and run. From the day you give the ticket in Bekwara, the other party has won. Sure. Because Budana Obaneko will team up and vote against that person. Because the House of Reps is rotating amongst our 3 local governments. Once it has left Bekwara, it's now in Obaneko. The next turn is Obudu. Okay. So, if you want to be strategic to win, You must put positions at the right places.
And the right candidates too.
And then you must bring the right candidate, people with political capital.
Sure.
Not just anybody.
Not sentiment.
Yeah. People with political capital, that their name alone can give you like 70% of the victory you're looking for. And the party has to work for only 30%. So the kind of candidate we should throw up.
Okay, but I'm worried about Cross River North. I was part of the process. As an investigative journalist, I saw a lot of things. Now, even if we are not even going to state them physically on the public space like this, I discovered that there were a lot of serious traitors. People that in fact, when the president campaigned, he spoke about PDAPC. There were a lot of PDAPCs in Cross River North. People that were in APC doing PDP, collected money, betrayed the process, and then of course they say one thing and do another and all of that. Have those people changed? Because they are still here in APC. How do we ensure that if they tell us a particular thing and they mean their business and they mean what they are saying this time around?
Let me tell you, it's what I was trying to say. APC had no business putting House of Rep ticket in Bekwara to start with. In my own federal constituency.
In the last election or
yes, in the last election.
Okay.
They had no business putting their House of Rep ticket in Bekwara. I say it would. The guy is my friend, but I say it. That is one of the major reasons why we lost the elections for our federal constituency.
Okay, but you knew this. Why did you not tell Right Honorable Lego Edagbo as your friend?
He was aware.
You told him?
He was aware.
Did you tell him clearly?
He was aware. I advised him to run for Senate instead.
Okay.
That if I'm running, I would rather prefer to go and run for House of Reps. You run for Senate. Because this House of Reps you want to run might not favor you. Our people don't believe in this 10 thing. We have not tried it. It hasn't really happened in our senatorial district and all of that. What are you see 2020?
But it wasn't just about the people of Obudu and Obanliko, but even the people of Bekwara voted against it massively.
Yes, they believe that, you have had enough. Let it go so it can come back so another person can have it.
So they're not even happy that their own son wants to retain it?
That is not what they were looking for. They were looking for the gentleman agreement that we have among the three local governments of that seat to rotate.
So you are saying the electorates now are very honest?
Highest is if you hold it for 2 terms at least, you relinquish it. As I'm sitting down with you, if I happen today that I'm given opportunity to contest election, even if it's the House of Reps, if I'm allowed to do 2 terms, as I'm doing my second term, I will never.
So you aim high?
I will never aspire to run for that same office. I will never.
Okay.
As I'm sitting down here, I had the opportunity of working with President. If I asked for commissioner, I had the opportunity. But I said, no, I'm working for 8 years. I can't come. Whether you want to make me chief of staff, I won't come back here. And I say it is the truth. You don't overstay your welcome now. Even our people have an adage that if you overstay in the toilet, you see a ghost. So, you see, politicians sometimes,
oh my goodness,
they get into office and they begin to build this spirit of entitlement.
Okay.
This spirit of entitlement is not good. We come from a people who are backward, economically backward. So this opportunity of holding office is an empowerment for us.
Sure.
We don't have mineral resources like gold, like oil, like other people, where people can do business and they can close their eye and allow you to remain in office for 5, 6, 7, 10. Our people are backward economically, So when you have opportunity of serving in that kind of office for 8 consecutive years, you should shift aside.
To another person.
Let another of your brother go and get that small empowerment too. I believe in live and let's live.
Okay. All right, so you're sounding like a realist.
Yeah.
But you've not answered my question. We saw disloyalty. We saw lack of commitment. These people who betrayed Governor Benayade, are they changed? Because they are the ones that are, most of them constitute NOTCO. I see them dramatizing NOTCO. But they were the very people that collected money and worked against APC. So at what point are they going to change? Are they still going to betray the process?
Well, I told you, even as a father in the family, your relationship with your children matters a lot.
Okay.
As a father, when you alienate yourself from your kid, your children, and then you rise above them, there will be no connect between you and them. So you have possibility of betrayal from your children.
Okay. You
understand? Ask yourself, what was the relationship of the former governor with the people of Cross River North?
Okay.
Did he have a strong, cordial, or personal relationship with them?
Okay.
Did he make them feel and take ownership of that government?
Okay.
That he led in the state? There are questions that have been running through my head. What possibly went wrong?
But he did a lot for Obudu people and they still failed him.
A lot?
He did a lot for Obudu people.
Well, I don't know about the lot.
Obudu was like a small London. Gave you generator that gave you light, did a road, access road for you people, empowered a lot of people. People who didn't even plan to get married, got married.
Roads well.
People that didn't even plan to build houses, have houses. Literally every Obudu youth has a house today in Calabar. So but Obudu still failed him.
I don't know Obudu failed him. He won the election in Obudu.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The general result put together, he won in Obudu.
Oh, okay.
So you can't say Obudu people failed him. Obudu people have never failed him before.
And they did not betray him? Because we heard that from traitors came from Obudu as well.
What is betrayal? What is betrayal? Obudu people have shown Professor Bernard the enormous love.
They were just paying back for what he did for them, though. Because he also did a lot for them.
What is payback? When he ran for governorship, did Obudu people not vote for him? Has he checked the results he got from Obudu?
But for instance, let me be very frank. I can't say the same thing that we got what Obudu got from Ukele, where I come from.
How can it be the same now? Excuse me, if you cook in your house now and you share with people, are you saying those people get the same share like your own children? Everything
so
has,
there was favoritism.
Everything has ownership. Everything has ownership.
So you agree that there was favoritism?
There was nothing like favoritism, but I'm telling you that temptation of reaching to your people, the governor is from Obudu.
Sure.
His wife
is from
Obudu. So, you could see the access to that power was much from Obudu.
Sure.
You understand? You can't say the same is not happening in other clients.
Or right now in Cross River.
When Yele Moke was governor, do you know the kind of empowerment he did in Abi?
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
All right, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we are still here having up close and personal with the former chief of staff to the governor. Of course, the immediate past governor, Senator Professor Benayade, Honorable Martin Orim, in his private office in Abuja, Nigeria. It's been exciting. It sounds very real and very practical, and I like that. I think that the first thing to do in dressing a wound is to open it up. And he's been very open about this information and all of that. I think moving into the 2027 general elections, the North is actually ready with someone like this being the Director General. I'm not praising you yet, because we need to know what you are bringing to the table. But then, talking about NOTCO, how ready is NOTCO? In terms of your strategic framework, in terms of your preparedness ahead of the processes, because we are just about 9 months to the primaries.
Yeah, NOTCO is very ready.
Okay.
Very ready and very strategic in what we're doing. Yeah, we coming out from the endorsement and the endorsement dinner, we've been having a lot of consultations and discussions, going around. We will soon get back to the field properly. Okay. Like I said, we intend to set up our structures, take it to the very basis, and then see how we can mobilize. Yeah, we don't really have much to do, as it has to do with primaries of the party. Where NOTCO is going to come in strongly is when we have candidates who have emerged. Because NOTCO does not intend to take sides with any aspirant.
Yeah.
Our primary focus will be working side by side with the governor and advising when necessary in terms of where to place positions,
so, yeah.
not who to run the elections.
Okay, but we've heard a lot of narrative that the governor might be allowing NOTCO to decide who becomes what.
Well, until that time comes.
Okay.
For now, there's no such discussion on the table.
Okay.
the discussion and the concern not cool is raising among themselves. We have not had a closed-door meeting with the governor to discuss all of that. We have not discussed the fallout of the endorsement and the dinner. After the dinner, the governor was busy. He traveled. We couldn't have a closed-door meeting with him. Even though myself and the chairman of NOTCO were able to meet with the governor in Abuja in his private residence to thank him for honoring our invite for the dinner in Calabar.
Sure.
And the kind words he spoke about NOTCO and the confidence that he has instilled on the people of Cross River North. And now he had made us to believe that we are fully part of his administration. And then telling us that he's one of us because he lived part of his life in the Northern Cross River, that we came to thank him for that confidence, that show of brotherhood, that comradeship, that it has given us the hope that we need to move forward, because we are like the weeping child now. We are not in government.
Certainly.
The North is in opposition government, so we want to reclaim it back to the ruling party. So we are the ones that are most affected. So we came to thank him and then to encourage him not to relent in giving us the necessary support that we need to reclaim the North from the opposition party.
All right, so lastly, talking about reclaiming the North from the opposition party, when you look at the indices, is that visible?
Very visible. The coast is very clear.
Okay.
The coast is very clear.
All right.
Like I said, there are a lot of mistakes we made. Like, it's not everything we're saying in the open on television, but we are crossing the T's and dotting the I's, putting our acts together. With us, on the accelerator, I'm sure that this ship, we are going to sail it smoothly
to the next level
and bet it in the next point.
APC
will reclaim the North. You can see them running helter-skelter, running whether to come and join us, because they are scared of the defeat already. So they are already thinking of jumping to come and join us. But they are welcome.
But looking at these girls of defection, if everybody defects to APC, how is that going to play out in the 2022 elections? Because everybody is coming with a personal motive. Everybody's coming, wants to run elections. Okay, for instance, we are hearing rumors that Jerry Beagon, Peter Akpanke, of course, and Honorable Lekofio want to come to the APC, and they want to go back to have a second term and all of that. And there are people here already in the APC who wants to run the same election. Would that be colossal for everybody? Would that be a sort of confusion going to happen ahead of time? Or is the APC going to say, we cannot receive you? Stay where you are.
No, it's a party. They receive everybody. But the beauty of APC is there's no automatic ticket.
Okay.
The only person who has the right of first refusal in APC is the president and the governor.
And the governor, okay.
Yeah, for that person, you don't have the right of first refusal. Okay. Yeah, it depends on the indices on ground. If they favor you that you have just come, fine, why not? If we see, because it's not everybody that's going to leave PDP. There will be opposition in the election. People are going to file to run elections. You're going to see people who will move out of APC back to those parties.
Okay.
To go and actualize their dreams.
Okay. In the fullness of time.
So in the fullness of time. It's not yet, we have not closed the doors yet.
Okay.
People are going to move. There will be movement. It's going to be an exodus movement here and there. People crossing to the right, people crossing to the left. Those things will happen. I always tell people, never say never.
Okay.
Those things will happen in the course of time. Because there are some people who think that if I want to pursue my dream, nothing will stop me. But there are some of us politically who feel that power comes from God.
From God.
If I believe in a group, I believe in a group. If I want to do something, it's on behalf of the group. If the group says wait, I will wait. If the group says go, I will go. As I'm sitting down here, I will not leave APC for any reason.
All right.
If by chance Prince Otu feels that it's not expedient enough for me to run any election, I will stay back and support the party.
Okay.
I'll work for the party.
All right. Well, right now, having said that, are you going to run elections?
Yeah, of course.
You will?
Of course.
Categorically?
Of course.
Do we talk about the position or not yet?
Well, God will direct. The governor, who is God's representative here in my state, and the leader of the party.
And on earth.
Will conclude what God will direct him. Thank God he's a man of God. He's an apostle. A messenger of God. And I know God will direct him rightly.
All right.
God has written my name in heaven.
God has written your name to run elections.
He has labeled my seat on the National Assembly.
National Assembly.
He has labeled my seat. And I know that
Oh my
Senator
goodness.
Prince Ededo 2,
Yeah.
Basi Ededo 2, who is our sweet Prince Governor. I call him Mr. Project.
Will align with the will of God.
He is a messenger of God.
Okay.
He's going to listen to the voice of God.
Voice of
and
God.
God is going to speak to him. Because God knows, he sees my heart. God knows that if he puts that position in my hands, the less privileged people will smile. The widows will smile.
Okay.
The orphans will smile. You know, as a chief of staff, I have graduates up to Yala. Up to Yala. I have one that I just assisted that left the country, got a nursing job in Newcastle. I supported her through school, through nursing school. When she was to travel abroad, I supported her. I didn't have enough money. I called the deputy governor who sent money to her. Supported her ticket. She has left to Newcastle. She's not related to me.
Okay.
I have one that living with me is a graduate. She's served in Akwa Ibom State. She's from Yala. You understand? I have several Boki everywhere, people that I train in school. They're not related to me.
All right, so we've said a whole lot, and I know that we have more to say. But being the DG, we are going to work closely with you to keep the people abreast with the happenings, current happenings, and all of that. But for the meantime, what would be your message to the people of Cross River North? What would be your message to the people of Cross River State, and of course to the entire leadership and team members of NOTCO?
Well, first to Cross River State, I would say we should count ourselves lucky that God has given us a good governor, a man of God, a shepherd of the flocks to lead us in the state. And we can see the atmosphere is full of excitement and a man who is committed. Prince Otu has been a welfare man right from when he was in the Senate. You know, I've discovered that politics in Cross River State, once you're a kind-hearted politician, you attract hatred from other politicians, which is what happened to him. Prince Otu has been my role model. Reason why as chief of staff, you saw my reach out to people. He has been my political role model. I believe that when you hold a public office, it's a public trust. You are only on trust for the people.
Sure.
You don't corner the proceeds to yourself alone. You must ensure that the people have a feel of what God has put in your hands. God does not bless you for only yourself.
Sure.
If God is blessing you for only yourself, the blessing will not be as massive as being a governor of a state. So Prince Otu has a clear understanding of that. So for Cross Rivers, I only advise them to be patient with him, pray for him, support his government, believe in his government, believe in his programs and his policies.
Right.
The roadmap he has set out, the economic roadmap he has set out for Cross River State, by the time he is done with Cross River for 8 years, Cross River will not be the same economically.
Sure. All right, to NOTCO.
Economically. So it's going to help to reduce the political tension in the state. The tension is a product of poverty. Everybody wants a space in the politics. Everybody wants a share of the national cake. That is what is causing the tension. But when people are busy economically doing other things, diversifying from politics to do other things, and they can make wealth for themselves, nobody will want to go and queue to struggle in that little political space that we have. You know, for Cross River North, well, I must say, our brothers who are representing us in the National Assembly, I can't write them up that they are not doing well. They are doing well in their own way.
Okay.
That is to the level of their own understanding of doing well. To the level of what they have in stock for the people. But I think they can do better.
Okay.
There is more to be done with National Assembly to help the people.
And they are not living up to that expectation?
Empowerment is not about motorcycle, tricycle, and all that. That's not empowerment.
So you're not saying that they are not living up to expectation yet?
They are doing well, but they can do better.
They can do better, okay.
So we need people who will do better, who understand what to do with those offices, who will do better. They are doing well. I praise them. They are doing
So
well.
they are doing well, but we need people who will do better.
Yeah, people who will do better.
I like that.
Yeah.
Then to the electorate.
Well, to the electorate, I want to advise Cross River North to connect ourselves with the ruling party, with the ruling government.
Okay.
If Prince Otu was not a kind person, he would have ignored Cross River North because we are in opposition.
Okay.
But I think he still has that belief, that trust in us that we can do better tomorrow.
All right.
I will encourage that we take advantage of this leverage that he has given to us to see that we take Cross River North to join the other senatorial districts to be in uniform with the ruling party in the state and in the country, so we can attract more dividends of democracy to our people.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's been a thought-provoking interaction. It's been awesome. It's been world-class. But this is about literally one of the best interviews I've had this year, considering the fact that the former chief of staff has been very practical, has been very realistic. You speak like a realist, and I commend you for that. Moving into 2027, there's a whole lot to be done. And I'm very happy that certain people who have learned the hard way in some ways are taking leadership and taking responsibility and coming out frontally to say that the North needs to be reclaimed. And I'm very happy, and I can't wait to see what is going to play out eventually. But then remember, Chizakpala, the program is Inside Cross River. We will always keep you abreast with all happenings in the private sector, in politics, and even the things that happen while you're sleeping. It is our own responsibility to let people talk about them, ventilate, and give you the right perspective to critical issues in our landscape. But one thing I always say is that please always be a part of the solution and not the problem. This is not the time for you to be reactive. Support the Senator Prince Bassey to lead administration, because building a cross-river of our dream is always our collective responsibility. So I'll see you some other time with another thought-provoking edition of the program Inside Cross River. Bye-bye.